See, there is one more thing to testing that we must also remember.
There are different types of test. There are different types of testing. One is called as black box testing and white box testing. Okay, white box testing means that system is a box for you. Black box means you don't know what's inside, how the system is functioning, how the system is making it work. You just know what the system is supposed to produce as an output. If you put this as an input, it will produce that as an output. For example, if you make a query for somebody, it will give you the result. So it is like a black box. But important point between black box and white box is, in white box you assume the code. You know the code. So you are looking into the box. It's white, basically transparent box. So it's a glass box, or transparent box, or a white box. That's what they call it. You can look into the box and see how the code is written.
Oh.
Then you design your test case in accordance with that. Right? Whereas black box testing will be just looking at the requirement and say, okay, this is what I'm going to check. It will not see how the requirement has been implemented, how the technical design was made.
So, and when this black box and black box is okay. When this white box comes into,
white box testing is not used in Civil. If somebody asks you which test approach would you like to take, just say black box. Yeah, black box is a better one. See, in white box, what happens is, some cases when you're testing the integrations, and you don't have end-to-end environment available, you might go for like a black box testing, white box testing. You'll just check the data in the backend, making sure that the data is reaching properly or not. Just don't understand white box. Just try to understand what is black box. What is the concept around it? Because you will be doing black box testing. There is another thing called as functional testing and load testing. Okay. Load testing. Functional testing is, we'll see whether the system is functioning the way it was supposed to or not. So basically against requirements. Again, the kind of testing we talked about was mostly functional testing, because you are checking the functions of the system. Yeah. Requirements capture all the functions, right? But then there are certain performance requirements also. When the order gets submitted, within 10 seconds, they should get the response that the order got submitted, right? So that is the performance testing, right? So performance testing is a different ball game altogether. We should not be much worried about it. But there are companies in the world which are making the softwares to do this work. Windrunner and LoadRunner are two softwares made by one company called as Mercury Interactive. Windrunner software is used for functional testing. LoadRunner is used for load testing or performance testing. We are not bothered about that. Okay. So we talked about 4 different types of testing now. Then there is another few different types of testing from the same point of view, like whether you are testing a functional or not. So functional, then we checked load. Then there is another type in the same league, integration and interface testing and system testing. System testing, you check, you have like not just systems, Siebel is always with other systems also, right? So you'll be having these other applications. You check it whether when you order gets submitted, whether it reaches other system or not. So you go to the other system and check it. That's system testing. Okay.
But for a tester,
they will be giving that sometimes. So you will probably not be doing a system test.
You don't know which other applications they are using.
No, they will give you exposure to all that. You will be basically, then you should have the ability to understand the architecture and system architecture and so on and so forth. Yeah. And when you're writing your test cases, you should see when you submit something, where does it go and how it should look like. Functionally, you should know all that. Yes. You will be getting the access to the QA environments of all these applications too. So not only Siebel's QA environment, everybody's QA environment has to be present. Interfaces also have to be present in the QA environment. That's only how we can check, right? Mm-hmm. So as you can see, one of the other things is, I'm sure you know that QA environment is where you test.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure you know that, right? Test environment is where you test it. You don't test it in production. You don't test it in development. You test it in a separate environment. Okay. So there are other types of testing also. I told you main types. Okay. There are different models of testing also. Like how basically test should be done. Like at a very project management level, what kind of things he discussed about testing. He will say whether we should go for W model of testing or V model of testing. Okay. V model of testing is very odd. It's simple. Basically, in the V model, whatever your development phases are, you design first, then you develop, right? And in the V model, you will be testing first, then you will be testing the design later. In the W model, whatever phase comes, you test it immediately a little bit. Okay. Again, you don't need to know about that for your job, but you should know there is a W model, V model. If they are talking about it, tell me and I'll tell you in detail what they mean.
Okay.
Okay? But you should functional black box testing is what you will be doing. When I say you will be going there for testing, you'll be doing functional black box testing. They will not be most probably asking you. Performance testing is out of the question. That is just done using tools. If you don't know how to use the tools, you cannot do that. Integration system is also out of the question. I don't think they'll be asking you to do that. They will be mostly asking you to do functional black box testing. So you will look at the requirements and you will make the test cases. That's functional black box testing, right? Right? That's what I explained to you the whole time. Okay. If they ask you to do some other kind of testing, little bit, they say, can you do some white box testing also? Just say yes, and I'll tell you how to do that. Just a little bit. You enter the data, you check it in the database rather than checking it in the application. Right? And you make your test cases also looking at the code.
But how
obviously it doesn't make any sense.
What will you test in the database?
Data. Let's say enter the data, you look it in the database, got stored properly or not.
The raw data will be there.
No, there are test approach. You just enter the data, you check it whether it's there or not. That's good. Yeah. Right?